Welcome to Behind the Mirror podcast. I'm Lisa.
Hi, I'm Laura.
And today's guest, we are welcoming Lisa Cramb Coaching.
Hi.
So she is also sponsoring our episode today. Lisa is a mindset coach who works to change people's outlook and perspectives on basically gaining power back to their own life. Would that be fair to say?
Yeah, to be a bit more confident, to be a bit more authentic, and just to really be themselves.
And obviously you are a hairdresser as well, so like you're very familiar with burnout in our industry.
Yeah, absolutely. That's one of the reasons that I actually went into coaching, because I hit burnout myself and just knew I couldn't do it that way any longer.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think this is a really good time to do this episode because it's just been Christmas. I know like we've both been manic busy, and you do, like, you get to a point where you've had 2 weeks off and you feel like you should be completely revived, and then you're just not, because you burned yourself so badly through November, December, bending over backwards, especially, in fact, even more so this year, because that flu in December, I don't know about you guys, but I was having to reshuffle for no fault of my clients, but with them being ill, if they were cancelling, you're like, oh my God, it's Christmas, I need to get your roots done. And then you were inventing all these other appointments that just didn't exist. And it puts a lot of pressure.
It's a bit like what we spoke about before about being in the industry people pleasers. And then that automatically means that you put your own sort of mental health aside, because it's like, as you say, like, I need to fit these people in, I need to do it, I need to make them happy. But then it does take its toll.
There's that bit, they've supported you loyally in your whole business,
Absolutely.
and you don't want to let them have roots on Christmas Day because it feels important. But equally you're like looking at the diary like, oh my gosh, right, okay, well we could do it at 7 a.m. on Monday.
I know.
Does that work for you? Or,
I know. Plus as well, obviously you've got the side of just dealing with people, and they are offloading on you about everything in their life, which is great, and you know, it's great to be able to do that for people, but then you carry all this like weight on you. So I do think that depending on what kind of person you are, I think, you know, it does take its toll. So I think it's great that you've got the hairdressing like experience as well. From that point of view, obviously it affects everyone in every industry, but I like the fact, I think that was what kind of drew us to Lisa to start
100%.
with.
We messaged you and it was like, so you absolutely can relate to every word that we are saying, and tailor make a service for other stylists that can come to you and say, you know, I couldn't say no to my client. You get it, unlike other coaches who might be like, just do it. Just say no.
I think,
and you're like, well, okay, I understand.
Yeah, there's that emotional connection. And I think I've always said that I have like my friends in a circle, my family in a circle, and then my clients in a circle. And they're so close to my family and my friends. It's like, where do you draw the line? Because you would say yes to your sister or your mum. So saying yes to your client, it's actually, you probably would rather them than your mum or your sister in, but I think it's that emotional, and I think you've just touched on it. Like, we do it, we've maybe worked with these clients for 5 years, 10 years, 15, 20 years. There's people that will have had these clients for so long, and it's that letting them down. Oh, what are they going to think of me? Are they going to go elsewhere? And I think for me, that was when I reached burnout, and that was when I was like, no, something has to give, because if we don't change that, or at least recognise it, then something that is really important to you is going to suffer. So that's going to be whether it's your own mental health, your kids, your own family, and you think, really?
It has such a big ripple effect.
Yeah, totally.
Like, I could do the world's craziest Saturday where I've squeezed all these people in because I want to, I choose to, you know, but they've asked for favours and I've been like, yeah. And then I know that I'm absolutely exhausted by the Saturday night, and by the Sunday, you know, my wee girl, she's won, she's certainly got a loud personality on her, and you almost feel like, oh my God, I can't like, please just shh. And it's not her fault, you know, but like, I'm so burned from the day before that the ripple, and obviously the bigger the ripple effect, the longer that you're doing that, the more it's going to impact on your life.
I know, so that's the thing, it actually doesn't affect you, it affects everyone around you, because naturally when you're tired or you're drained, it does come off. And you know, I find myself like, I definitely moan a lot more. I probably don't tolerate as much. I don't have the same patience, and it's not their fault. It's a blooming shame.
And it's also
it's
like
terrible.
You've skipped your lunch break because you squeeze someone in, so you're starving.
Yeah.
When did you last go to the toilet? Because we all know the cross-legged hairdresser trick. Where you're stood there for ages and you're like, oh my God. But there's so many people in, or there's an extra quick fringe trim, or there's and you've done so much. So tell us, like, then when you hit burnout for you, where did you start to come back up? How do you manage managed to turn that around?
I guess the first thing for me was actually recognising where I was, because for me it happened as we went into lockdown. Yeah. So this was the first time that I wasn't needed, and that was alien. Like, I felt so uncomfortable because I've been in the hairdressing industry since I was 16, and I'm going to be 40 this year. So that was a massive chunk of my life. And what I realised was I was being validated, one, by my clients, because as long as I was needed, that gave me a purpose. So I think recognising, okay, this is how I'm feeling. I was so withdrawn. I wasn't connecting a lot with friends and my partner. I mean, great relationship, but there was things that I was getting frustrated about, and he wasn't doing anything wrong. No. But I had to then really take it upon myself. So this is when I came into coaching. I found it online. I started kind of being curious of it and listening to other people's stories and going, God, that totally resonates with me. So what I started doing was journaling, just writing things down. Now, I have to admit, when I first started this, I was like, what a load of rubbish. Because for anyone who's never done it, or anyone who has done it, they've gone, I've tried it, but it doesn't work. And I think for me, like anything, it's like riding a bike. You do it once, you fall off. It doesn't work. But you don't. You just have to keep going. So what I started recognising was patterns. The same things were coming up. And I was like, okay, this is a me problem. This isn't a hairdressing problem. This isn't a relationship problem. This is actually me. And that was the first kind of point of really being aware of, what am I thinking, what am I doing, what patterns am I repeating? And the definition of madness is repeating the same thing and expecting a different outcome. Well, that was me at that point. So that's then when I started kind of dabbling a little bit more into the tools.
So did you have a mind coach yourself at that point, and then that's what then led you?
So I joined a group programme because it was in lockdown. There was quite a few of us on it, and it was a 21-day programme, and it was just basic like awareness. Like, some of the things were like noticing how you speak to yourself. Now, I think, again, as hairdressers, but also as a society of British people, I think we're really hard on ourselves. And I think that also comes from our generation of growing up, like, just get on with it, stop moaning. And whilst there's a place for that, I absolutely do believe there is a place for it. It's created a monster in us that doesn't allow us to actually be honest with ourselves, because we're scared of what someone's going to think. So we then do this, okay, that's never going to be me. And especially in hairdressing, when there's so much competition, like, oh, they're so much better at that than me, or okay, I'm never going to manage, and all these things. So the first thing was like looking at how I'm speaking to myself, and then just different things like, what are you good at? I mean, what's your positives? Like, have you ever sat down and wrote that down? Because these are things that people go, why? Why would I do that? Like, and also because you've probably been told, oh, who does she think she is? Oh, she thinks she's amazing if she, so again, this lingo that we're carrying.
And I think in the hairdressing world especially, we've spoke about this. One of our reasons for setting up this podcast was to actually change perceptions and shift the energy from hairdressers are just, I don't want to say the word because we're a PG programme, but we all know the word I'm thinking. And actually try and bring a community of people together who could empower, but there is a small group who choose not to, and you will get these hairdressers. I don't know why it's that's like, oh God, why did she do it like that, or why is that like that, or I would never have done it like that. Will you sit down and shush? Let's have the louder crowd. Let's have those that go, that's amazing, I would never have done that, but do you know what, see if you do it like this, maybe it'd be better. And it does create imposter syndrome in the hairdressing world, because you're scared. Lisa and I spoke briefly on the phone about, we're looking at maybe doing some tutorial work and stuff. And even the thought when our producer said to us about doing that, I was like, I don't want to put myself in the firing line for how to do an updo when there's better people out there that could do it, that might sit and comment and say, well, that's hellish, or that looks awful, or and actually, like, no, it shouldn't be like that. We've got successful careers, but absolutely resonating with what you're saying, because it is a terrible industry for it, and it would be amazing for people to see this episode and think, oh God, I'm one of those people. I'm a horror. Like, I need to maybe change my language towards other people. It doesn't make you look any better.
I think you're never going to win being in that energy, that environment, that mindset process, like that thought process, because what that really honestly does is just shines on the insecurities, I think, of people that they just don't know that are there. And that sometimes is not through any fault of their own. You know, maybe they've been spoken to harshly when they've been brought up. Maybe they don't know. And a great thing that I think I've now totally fully accept is some people just don't know what you don't know. So if someone's been brought up and taught in a certain way, maybe this is for us to be showing people, well, how would you like it if someone spoke to you like, oh, that's rubbish, why did you do it?
It's just their normal
that
sort of
is
thing
their
at that
norm.
point. Yeah.
And so it's uncomfortable and it's weird, or it's like, why would someone say that to me? Like, you're amazing. Like, how, even saying that, like, oh God, that's so weird, or oh my God, you're amazing. Even the tone of it. But some people go, oh my God, don't compliment me, don't look at me, you know. And people sometimes, I think it's an act, it's like a self-preservation sometimes. So whilst there is a lot of that, and I believe there is still a lot that we need to break down, there's actually a lot of I would use this word of vulnerable people in the hairdressing industry. So they use their skills, they use their talents to hide behind the real them. So that's when this toxic tongue comes out and, you know, words are said. And sometimes I think if they were to have that time and just say, so why are you speaking like that? Not she said this and he said that, just what's going on?
I think that is so true in any sort of industry, in the fact, or even just in people in general. I think people that tend to act ill towards other people generally have a problem within them. And I think that's what it comes back down to, as you say, like, you know, that's their own insecurities, and then whether you use hairdressing as like, you know, your way of kind of covering that. But I definitely, and I've always said that even to the girls and Brandon in the salon, if you get a client in that's horrible to you, there's something going on with them, and you're just their sort of output at that point. And it's hard and it's not right, but generally you know that there's an issue with them, something's not going right in their life, and I think that speaks for most people that are unkind to people.
I've always wondered as well, like my therapist, when I was pregnant, I had a therapist that coached me through a lot of things, and I used to say to her, I don't understand, why would they do that? Why would they say that? Why would they behave like that? And she used to say, you can't expect someone else to follow from your logic because you wouldn't say it, because you wouldn't do it. It doesn't mean that that's how their brain works. And after that, I remember reflecting quite heavily and thinking, see, the way I view life, like, that must be so much more lighter than how they view it. How heavy must the world feel when you've got a grudge against everybody and everything, and your behaviour is constantly unacceptable, and you constantly have a bugbear with people? That must be so draining.
And to not do anything about it as well. So
that's,
you know, it's, as you say, it's like identifying, right, okay, let's look inside and see what's going on with me.
But I think that is the thing, it's just so uncomfortable. Like, if you had 5 minutes or 10 minutes to yourself, you're going to scroll on social media. You're not going to sit and go, how am I feeling today? Because it is uncomfortable and it's not the norm. But 2 minutes in the morning, checking in with yourself, like, how am I today? Genuinely, we ask that question to every single client that sits in our seats. Hi, how are you? When was the last time you asked yourself? Like, how am I feeling today? And when you ask yourself that question, you're like, oof, maybe I am not feeling okay. Like, what's going on? Or, yeah, I'm buzzing. Like, I'm up for today. A lot of people in my industry in coaching will say, fake it till you make it. And whilst I agree with it, sometimes I don't, because if you're faking it, you're not actually getting to the root of how you're feeling. So if you can, like, identify it, acknowledge it, and then go, right, what do I do now? Like, it's so simple. It's like someone who can't apologise. See, if you just apologise, it's over. But see, if you hold on to it, it's like that weight, that heaviness. It's like you're carrying a backpack of boulders around with you invisibly, but it's heavy and it's hard. And then you see, you know, everything's sad and angry and
the world's so bad.
But actually,
I think the problem is some of these people don't see it. And that's where maybe this episode comes into play, because if they sit and be honest with themselves and think, do you know what? I never apologise for my actions. I always blame. I never take responsibility. I'm actually quite a negative person. My glass is never half full. It's always half empty because the world screwed me over and I'm owed a favour and whatever. Actually, if they were to reflect on this and be like, God, life could be a lot easier
for themselves. That's it.
And those around them.
It's for yourself.
And that load that they're carrying would be put down, but that takes a strong person to come out and admit. And you see them sometimes on TikTok and things that have said, like, I'm a narcissist, but I've changed myself. Like, I've worked on this. It takes a really confident and strong person to be able to actually put their hands up and say, I don't think my behaviour's been very good. And I think that would be amazing for you to like hit the point to people where like you can change.
Totally. And I think if you don't, the only person that's going to suffer is yourself.
Yeah.
Like if it's not an easy process. So I'm not saying that, you know, you get a book out, you journal, you ask yourself in the morning, how am I? And boom, you're going to change. It's noticing the quiet patterns, the things that you're doing that does that make me feel okay or not? Like I talk a lot about nervous system regulation. You'd know if you've got a funny tummy or, you know, you're just constantly stressed out, you're not sleeping very well, there's something going on in your body. That's information, that's feedback. That's your body saying there is something not right. You need to change this. So it's not an easy process, but I think when people start going, oh, okay, I think why people don't is the fear of judgment. A lot of people will not enter that because Mrs. So-and-so said something, their cousin said something, their best friend once said something, and it left them feeling maybe vulnerable or, you know, shamed or guilt-ridden. So let's deny those feelings, but actually what about working through them? Like, what does shame really look like? Oh, it feels uncomfortable. I feel lonely. People don't like me. But is that true? Because in that situation, you're tying that feeling to a memory 5 years ago, 10 years ago. It could even be when you were at school. But, oh no, that feels uncomfortable. But what's the truth in it? Because there was truth in it when 5 years ago or 10 years ago or 2 weeks ago, but what's the truth in it today? And I think that's like the deeper work that people don't know how to do. And that's why someone like me, coaches, it might not be me personally, it might be another coach that you're like, oh my God, this makes sense. I'm starting to understand it. But it's explaining this process. It's guiding you through it. And that's in a session, that's what we do. Like, what's going on? What does that look like? What does that feel like? But is it true? And 9 times out of 10, honestly, people will either laugh or my husband will say, did you make anyone cry today? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, okay. And I'm like, no, that's amazing because it's, you know yourself, when you cry, you're like, oh, I feel so much lighter. Release. Totally. And it's a lot of people don't cry because they've been told not to. You know, we probably have said it to our own kids, don't cry, like you're a big girl, don't cry, or oh, you're a big boy, come on. No, let them. Because releasing that, again, going back to the heaviness, like it lets it go. It makes you walk around without holding that inside.
It makes you human as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
And
totally.
I suppose just somebody sort of sitting you down and saying, it's okay, safe. Like just you need to, let's look at you, just you, never mind anyone else.
Yeah. It's creating that safe space. And I think personally for me, that's what I got from coaching, because I didn't want to do it with my husband. I didn't want to do it with my family. I didn't want to do it with my friends. And not because I didn't trust them, because of course I do, but I just wanted to be a bit anonymous. I wanted someone to see me for me. Like, in any relationship, you're going to have something, you know, with that person. And actually, some of these people trigger you. So it's these things that you need to work through. Well, why is that annoying you? Why is him saying that getting you so tangled up in knots? And it's not ever about that. It's about something deeper, you know. And I think for me, I do share this a lot because it is all over my social media, but I lost my mum when I was 9 years old, and I never had any coaching, any counselling or anything. And this all surfaced up when I was doing coaching. And I think because I had the mindset of, well, that just is what happens. Like, and again, you know, 30 years ago, we didn't talk about it. It was a taboo subject. It wasn't, you know, it wasn't a big thing. So for me, I locked it in a box and put it away. But these things that were coming up, these were triggers for me. These were activation points, as some people call. And that at lockdown was it was funny because it was around about her anniversary. And I'm like, do you know what? Everything does happen for a reason. And I follow that. Whether you think it's woo-woo or not, I definitely do, because there's always teachings in some of these things. But just get to know yourself, you know, on a level that you're happy with or you can be comfortable with.
And I suppose that probably is what puts a lot of people off doing it, because you might have to bring some stuff you've buried to the surface, which is going to be hard.
Yeah.
Because it is easier to keep things, but I mean, everybody knows you bury things, they don't stay down there forever.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I can see why it would be, it's easier to go, oh, I'll do it at one point.
Yeah, I'll deal with it later.
Yeah,
Totally. And coaching isn't like counselling. It's not therapy either. Well, it probably is. It's very cathartic having it done. But when you're in a session, but coaching is always forward focus. So the difference between therapy or counselling is we'll touch on the subject. If it's coming up for you, we need to explore it, but we don't sit in it. So it's not going to be a session where I'm like, and tell me how you felt and what was happening and how did it happen? It's like, okay, what does that mean for you today? And why is that a challenge for you today? What's that stopping you do today? And it's, again, 9 times out of 10, it's the feeling. It's not what happened. There's a great guy called Gabor Mate. I don't know if you've ever heard of him, but he is I think he's a psychologist, or I'm going to get this wrong, but anyway, you look him up, and he explains trauma. If you've ever had, and trauma can be big, it can be small. So it could be like your parents forgot to pick you up in the playground one day and you as a child felt really vulnerable, or it could be a big traumatic event, whatever that looks like for you. And he explained it so perfectly that trauma is not what happened to you, i.e. the event, it's what happened inside of you. And I think for me that landed so well because I was so open. I'm like, why am I feeling like this?
Yeah.
Like on paper, I was building a house, I was engaged, I had a healthy son, I had everything on paper. And yet inside I was like, I don't want to be here. Like, it
didn't feel like what it was supposed to feel like.
And on why? Because people would say, oh, you've got everything, Lisa. Like, what's your problem? But inside, and I'm as deep as the ocean. Well, not anymore, but I just never let people in. And I guess for me, I was scared that what I have learned through my own coaching experiences, you have a story you tell yourself. So it could be, we've heard it all, I'm not good enough, I'm not this, I'm not that. And I identified mine very early on was people I love leave. So that was for a while. So my mum died on the 15th of April. My granddad died on the 11th of May. So there was 3 weeks in between, like 2 important people, and then like a couple, like a year and 2 years, my nanny, and then my papa. So as a child,
a lot of loss.
That was a lot. But that was almost like I didn't recognise it. So when this came up again, I was like, oh, yeah, but that just happened. But actually, again, you're like, oh, that's been my story. In relationships, oh, he cheated on me. Oh, look, someone I love leaves. So that becomes it. So then when you enter a relationship, thank God for my husband's patience, but he was like, you're safe. And
you're always expecting them to go.
It's almost like you're challenging them as well.
Yeah.
Like, I dare you.
Yeah.
Because this is what I know is going to
How
happen.
to lose a guy in 10 days.
Yeah.
I'm going to push every button you've got just to see how many buttons we can do before you leave.
And he was like, no, I'm not going anywhere. Sorry, you're stuck with me. But in that, that takes work from both sides, obviously. But you have to be honest. And I think anything in life, you have to be really honest with yourself. So again, coaching, your mindset, everything is all about awareness, really.
Honestly, I absolutely love this. I think there's so many people who listen to this now, whether it's in their career, whether it's in their relationship, whether it's them as a parent. So I bet you this resonates with so many folk because it is everything you're saying. I'm like, oh, that's me. I'm not like the loss, but certainly blaming yourself for things that even just surface level right now, me thinking while you're speaking, not digging deep, I'm like, I couldn't have prevented that. I couldn't have done that. I couldn't have done any better than I did. But yet you blame yourself. God, that's so deep.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's just changing the way you look at things, isn't it?
Yeah. And we were chatting about this. The principle that you could apply to this, and this might resonate with everyone, is the thoughts that you're having and the feelings that you're experiencing are creating your reality. So a thought plus a feeling equals your reality. A thought plus energy you're giving it is your reality. So if, like anything, if you are filling up your car or you're putting logs on the fire, you're fueling it. So if your thought is like, I'm never going to find someone who's going to love me, and you fuel that daily with, I'm never going to find, guess what's going to happen? You're never going to attract that in. Opposite, if you are like, I am the best person in my industry and I attract the best clients ever, you're going to bring that, because people are going to you're going to be attracting that, like, oh, I love her energy. Like,
we actually love the law of manifestation, and we do a lot, don't we?
I do
We'll
believe
text
in
each
that
other,
a lot. And I do think you can instantly see what you're talking about, energies, and you walk into a room and nobody has to say anything, but you can feel if it's down or up. And it is, I do think people do. So they must be able to feel if you've got this positive energy, you are naturally, sometimes you are drawn to people and you don't really know why, or the opposite.
Look at Gary, like getting rid of his client on our last episode.
Yeah.
He talked about having to, because she was like a mood hoover.
Yep.
And
a mood hoover.
as a mood hoover, like she just, and I like,
I love that.
if someone walks in a room and you do, I would be mortified to think that when I walk in a room, people go, oh, here we go.
No.
She's going to drain the life out of me, because that's not what you want to put out. But
No.
like, if you don't change what you're doing, if you don't change your fuel and whatever, then you're always going to be said mood hoover, and you're never going to be a Dyson.
Yeah.
She
She needs a coach.
I mean, from what the comments were, there's quite a lot of stylists have said, oh my God, I know who you're talking about.
But it's amazing though how, so obviously we put out the clip about that, and the comments, like, there is so much focus on mental health now, and I love the fact that people are so aware. Like, a lot of people were saying, I did that, I actually did, reach out to a client and I sent a message similar or whatever, and I think it's great that people are becoming more aware of themselves and actually looking after themselves now. There is
in your own energy.
there is such a shift, and it's so good, because it makes you think, right, okay, so the next generation, again, obviously you need to keep it, you don't want to go too far the other way either. But I thought, oh God, see, even 10 years ago, the story was completely different.
Oh, totally.
But you had to do it.
Yeah. Like, the
And you
client
would stand
always,
every week and dread wee Mary or whoever, it was.
And the client was
coming in.
always right.
Right, yeah.
Oh, it was horrendous.
Yeah.
And I, like, when I first started the business, I took everything and anything. Obviously, I just opened up a salon. I'd quit being a lawyer. It was like, oh my God. And I remember having these horrible jobs to do, not just the hairdressing job, but like the person. And it was like, oh, you're not my bag. And now I'm so thankful and grateful that I've attracted this amazing group of people. I don't have anybody anymore that I dread. I really look forward to hearing about people like, oh my God, she was on holiday last week, she'll need to tell me all about it. Or she was got married or whatever. And actually it becomes a joy to go to your work, instead of thinking, oh no, I better not drink any wine tonight, because I don't even want a slight hangover for tomorrow, because I can't cope with me Mary the mood hoover.
I know.
And that shouldn't be where we have to feel like we are putting ourselves in a position where, oh, you've got to do it.
Yeah.
But I see what you say. You can't just also have no clients.
Yeah, I think
It might be a you problem. If you start thinking every client's a nightmare, then maybe you need to book Lisa Cramb.
That's when you look inside of it.
You need to get some coaching. There's something going on there. Those are like, there are absolute winners.
What's going on here?
So obviously, following on from December, if you were to give like 2 or 3 top tips right now, so let's say people have watched this episode and they're like, oh my God, this is me. I'm really resonating with this. Other than top 1 tip, book Lisa Cramb coaching. No, but like, what would your sort of first step be? Out with sending you a message and saying, I think I need help.
Something here. So I would probably say, going back to what I just said initially, was checking in with yourself first thing in the morning. Like, how am I? You could use a scale from 0 being the worst ever, and and 10 being amazing, never been better. Like, checking in with yourself, because how your day flows is ultimately starting. Like, if you're going to start on social media, you're letting thousands of people into your bedroom in the morning, and then you're comparing and you're like, oh, she's doing this and she's doing that. Oh, and then you run ahead of yourself. Like, no, like, you would never invite physically thousands of people into your bedroom. If you're Bonnie Blue, but that's
so
for
true though, isn't it?
But you would never do that normally. But we do it because it's habit. We're trying to look for the kind of the good things in life, but actually, is it really doing you any good? Because for me, it was always instant comparison. Oh God, she looks great. Oh God, I need to go on, never mind 10k steps, I need to do 20 today, because unless there's someone that you follow, like, you have a podcast or you have a coach that you want to listen to, you're going to filter your brain full of stuff that you actually don't want to. So try 2 minutes. Don't make it a big thing. And also, I don't like to add more to people's day. I like to take away. So a lot of people will say, right, what's your goals? What's this? And whilst that's totally, totally relevant, I think we need to be taking away what's not working for us. So in that day, checking in, like, I'm not feeling that great. Oh, I've said I was going to, you know, go and do this, that and the other. Like, what one thing can you say? Could I rearrange that? Start practicing, you know, changing things up a bit. So change it. Like, commit to yourself, right? Today I'm going to step outside my comfort zone. Now that might look like messaging a client or, I don't know, reaching out to someone that you haven't, but what would happen if you don't? You know, like if you don't do these things, you're going to waking up tomorrow the same. So check in with yourself. I think the next thing I would do is like be really honest with yourself and be like, where I am right now, probably every coach in the land uses it, but a tool called the Wheel of Life. So it's super, super simple to use. Draw a big circle on a piece of paper and you can do between 4 and 8 topics. So quarter it, whatever, put as many kind of halves or quarters in it, and then for each one identify maybe relationships, health and well-being, finances, career, and keep doing it to fill up your home. It could be, you know, if your spirituality, it could be hobbies, whatever that looks like, and almost start looking at your life and being like, well, what is working for me and what's not? And again, the scale 1 to 10, if you're a 3, right, what do I need to do in that area? Like if you're a 7, amazing, like what one thing could I do that could make me an 8? It gives you more, I think it just gives you more awareness. This is the buzzword for today, but it just lets you see what's going on with your life instead of expecting others to fix it for you. Like, you know, we're quite good at that, of saying, oh, she never done that for me.
And it's breaking it down a bit, isn't it? And the whole picture going, oh my God, there's just so much going on just now and I'm not really sure why I feel like that.
Yeah.
Being able to sort of identify, right, okay, this is maybe where I'm not getting what I need from my life.
And I think we are so quick to blame others, like, oh, my relationship isn't working because he's not done the dishes and she's not said this and she said, right, okay, but why is that expectation on them? Like, why is there resentment there? Why are you not? Because you're allowing it. And this is a kind of bit of a hard truth as well, is we enable a lot of people in our lives and we moan about it a lot as well. So again, clawing back some, you know, power to say no more. Like if that means you have to have a conversation in whether a voice note or you're sending that message to say, like Gary had done, you know, sending that message, like that's not for me anymore. Because what you're going to do by doing that is being more authentic, being more real, being more honest, unapologetic, and standing in your own power, like taking back control of your life. No one's going to chap on your door tomorrow and say, Laura, Lisa, this is a golden ticket. What do you want your life to look like? No one's going to do that.
Some people think that is what's going to happen, and that's where the chip on their shoulder very clearly lies. We actually, the other day, so I've got kind of diagnosed ADHD. I spin a million plates all the time. It's just always what my life's been. See, when you say journal, my brain goes, I could buy a beautiful journal and a really nice pen, but what will happen is it'll sit at the side of the bed. Like, I know my own traits. And Laura phoned me the other day, and we make jokes, like, Laura is harder to get hold of than, you know, someone that lives in the desert. But she phoned me and she was like, listen, we need to stop. You're spinning too many and they're going to drop. So she helped me break down my own brain to be like, okay, so there actually is like 20 things going on right now. And while I think in my brain, they're all important, they all need me. She was like, no, I've made the decision on our behalf as business partners. We're putting this down, we're pausing that, and we're going to focus on this and this. And it instantly was like,
Lisa's such a strong character, as you know, and actually I made the decision as well by doing it in a voice note because I thought she can't interrupt me. And I can just say to her, this is what's happening, this is what you're not going to do, this is what you're going to focus on, and then she can listen to it, and then I'll speak to her after and that's fine.
Because I had that fear of like phoning Laura and saying, oh my God, I'm really overwhelmed.
I can tell. You can tell
I'm going to have to put one of these down. Whereas actually her saying to me, right, stop. We're going to pause these and these, and we're going to focus on this and this. It was like instant. I was like, oh my God, thank God someone else thinks the same.
Well, there's a pressure to then, you know, to both be sort of standing up for each other at that point as well.
It was too much.
And sometimes you can't see what's going on because you're so far in it, you know. So to have someone that you trust, and you know, if she calls you out on your BS, you know, you're like, okay, I maybe don't like you in that moment, but actually I hear you. And sometimes, again, there's a a deeper reason for you doing that, because it's like, la, 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 if I'm busy, I'm not thinking
busy
about what's actually going on. Because if you think about it, sometimes you're like, I don't have time to crumble in my life right now. Like, I don't have time. But if you don't choose to do it yourself, it'll happen regardless.
I know.
Because we're human beings. We have emotions. We are not, robots yet. So you're a human being having human experiences. They're valid. Everything's valid. But when we break it down, that's often when we're like, so what am I without this?
It makes you not feel as strong because you're almost letting it take a hold of you at that point.
Yeah.
Actually, you're stronger doing it.
Yeah, totally.
Really.
And one of the things, again, I love an analogy. I think this makes people's brains go, oh, that makes sense, is if you were to build a house on sand or you were to build a house on concrete, well, which one? Straight away, we know which one's going to last. It's the same when you're spinning these plates. When the sand goes, you're going to crumble with that. And it's if I just pretend, you need a solid foundation. So even if you break and you strip everything down and you take it all back, building on concrete is going to serve you. It's your kids, your grandchildren, your nieces, your nephews, your friends' kids that are watching you. Like, we are this next generation. And if we don't break these cycles, these patterns that we are in, that our mums and our dads and our grandparents done, we're just following suit. So this is an opportunity for you to take control, to become really aware of what's going on in your own life, to go, actually, no, no more. And that's it. You don't need to explain. And if someone doesn't like it, and this for me was probably this was the hardest thing. People that I thought were my friends, or like I thought I had my back, these will always change, like seasons. You've got people for a season, a reason, and a lifetime. And I think, again, I think hairdressers struggle with that, though, because we want to be liked by everyone. Yeah. I think when you start being okay with that, that's when you're like, okay, that doesn't mean I'm a bad person. That just means that's been a season that they've been in my life, and now it's time for them to go.
Of it is kind of served in your
really
life.
Love that as well. Yeah. Like, again, because we talk a lot about how it can feel quite personal. Yeah. Like, you've done their hair for a long time, you know all about their life, they know all about yours to a point, and then they just one day go somewhere else, and you're like, did I upset you? What happened? And actually, like we've said before, it could just be that it was closer to them.
Totally.
Price was a bit better for their budget. It could be lots of things, but it is really difficult to not fixate on, like, oh no, I've lost
it's
her.
How they've
really
not came because they don't like me. Even if they didn't like me for 8 days, I've done something or I've said something.
And I think that, again, shines a light on, we can't control what other people think of us or they want from us, but that is, like, I was the same. I had a client, when I moved to my own salon and some clients didn't come, I was like, oh, like I felt sick, physically sick. But then I was like, do you know what? I need to let go of some of these. I can't keep thinking. But then again, what was the deeper meaning? Oh, they're going to go to someone else who thinks someone else is better than me. And that's not true. That's absolutely, it's probably so far from the truth. It's laughable, really. But I think then it's like, no, let go of, like, attachment to everyone, which is a whole other topic. But if you can release that grip from some clients or even friendships, because some friendships you'll go through the same cycle and you're like, I didn't do anything wrong, and you're trying to make it better, but that just is life. I think, when you get to that place of acceptance, it's not nice at the time. We all know that it's not nice, but actually just being a wee bit more, I don't know, loosen the grip with clients, and then you create space for new ones to arrive, and you're like you said, oh my God, I feel like I've known you forever.
Yeah. I know, and actually I've had a few recently because of the balayage trend now, where people are going longer between appointments. I've been able to open up my diary, and I've had a few new clients, and I'm like, oh my God, I love your energy, this is amazing. I really look forward to this, a new person in my world to banter with and chat with. And it's like New Year, and you're not, for me, I'm not bringing with me as a stylist the baggage that I previously had through all the hardships that I have worked through. I've started afresh with that person. They don't necessarily need to know. Oh, I had high premises when I was pregnant. I was sick, and the running joke, I used to be doing people's hair and then running out with a bucket. Like, I'm so sorry. And everyone was so amazing, but it's nice to sort of close that chapter. We're not pregnant anymore, we'll move on. And I love that, like, and I think that's so true.
Yeah.
I, like, oh my God, I feel pure buzzing off the back of this. Just even this, like, podcast session, I can't even imagine what 10 sessions with you would do to someone's whole persona and
I think
physique.
having that sort of positive sort of outlook is like, I just think that's the most powerful thing to have that mindset. I think it's incredible.
But someone validating you and saying, right, okay, well, wait a minute, maybe that does trigger you, but let's find out why and let's find out how to fix it.
Yeah.
What's the
but
point
that in
in carrying...
itself is so positive.
Yeah.
I just love that. I just think it's incredible.
No, 100%. So tell us about Rise.
So Rise is my signature program, and it is a kind of 4-step process, if you like, in coaching. So Rise stands for regulate, identify, shift and embody. So reset, identify, shift and embody. Reset. We've decided, we've made that decision. Yes, I need that in my life. Identify where the problems are, shift it, let's change it to what you want it to be, and then we embody it. And this is the process that I will be guiding you on through an 8-week process. So Rise, just now, we are doing a 6 a.m. morning call. So for...
my God. Hallie would love that. Can I sign up my 1-year-old? Does it just work if I put an iPad in the cot? Can you just deal with the first hour while I kind of like...
You can just come to. The reason that I do that, again, this is another tool, is I used to be so bad at scrolling on my phone late at night, and then my sleep pattern was all a mess. So the 6 a.m. call a Monday morning is to set you up for success. I know.
I think I can totally understand why you do that, though, because it's literally from the minute you open your eyes, you're sort of getting right in there.
Yeah.
Before the mindset starts. I think that's such
Come on a call and you can see how it works.
I mean, if Hallie lets me, I'm saying, oh my God, Hallie this morning for the day was up at 2:45.
Oh, wow.
That was her for the day.
That's a tough
So
one.
I'm saying that by 6 o'clock I've had my dinner.
Exactly. You're halfway through your day.
But I'm spinning 40 plates and I'm singing all over, you know, like...
I don't know.
The 6 a.m. calls, it's half an hour, it sets you up for the week ahead. And again, it's not the boom, boom, boom goal setting. It's like, right, look at our week, go back to your wheel of life. What is one actionable thing I can do today? If you've done it by 9 o'clock, let's look at the next one. Eliminate a lot rather than add to it. And I just think it makes your day. It's a positive start to the day. You're not on social media. You're up before your kids. You've maybe got a load of washing on. I don't know, whatever that looks like. You could have even had a 20-minute workout done. That makes you feel incredible.
I know, people do say it becomes... I've always wondered, I would love to be someone that liked exercise. I just don't. Like, I literally just truly... But I've heard that if you keep going, it becomes addictive. And I've got an addictive personality, so I would actually love to get to the point where I say, I can't wait to get to the gym. Whereas right now I'm like,
I think, like, and before I had any kids, I did go to the gym in the mornings purely because I hated it. I hated the gym, but the feeling after is amazing. And I can see like what you're saying from that, because it just makes you feel really good about yourself.
Absolutely.
And
now, how long does it take to create a habit? There's a thing about
21 days, they say.
21 days. So you get up at 6 a.m. every day, you start doing your washing before your kids, you've got less chores to do, you've maybe had your morning coffee in peace, which sounds and my situation, we make a joke like she's only a baby, so eventually
and you're doing it on your own as well.
So it is hard, but eventually I'll get to the point where, like you're saying, I'm able to get up before her, get the house organised, sorted, maybe her breakfast's already made, sitting out, so that by the time she gets up we're happy, we're not both like you know. And I actually think that would be so beneficial to lots of people.
See, I think a lot of people need a challenge like that as well, do you know, because you do get stuck in a rut and you know, it's like, you know,
and I
your
think
own routine.
If you say you're going to do something as well, this is where a lot of people, like I think they said, was it the 9th on Friday? That's when most people stop their New Year's goals, but after 9 days or something. But I think for that, a lot of it is just like self-trust. Like if you say you're going to do something and you do it, you're like, buzzing. But if you do it only for a couple of times and you're like, what's the point? Actually, there is a point. Why did you not do it? Because I went to my bed late last night. I was scrolling on my phone. There's always an excuse. But even if it's not 6 a.m, so the Rise program is all recorded. So if you naturally are not someone, because some people will say getting up that early just totally disrupts my rhythm and I don't want to do that. Well, watch it on record, like, so you can.
Or if you're a night shift worker.
Exactly.
So is it a group?
A group,
Are you all on like a Zoom or what? Like, right, okay, so they all join and they can put their cameras on or off or whatever they
and
want.
everyone has it off because it's 6 o'clock in the morning, apart from me. And I'm like, no makeup.
Morning.
I wish I could turn mine off.
My wig's not on yet, 2 seconds.
I know. No, do you know what? Probably 2 years ago, I'd be like full face of makeup, but now I'm like, do you know what? I'm just me. Like, I've got so much to give. I've got so much to share. I want everyone to feel like different. There's a reason that you're doing it. You're burnt out. You're exhausted. You're overwhelmed. You're recovering from a big life challenge, whatever that is. You don't need to stay stuck. And this is the morning program. Sets you up for success, and then we meet on a Thursday evening at 8 o'clock, and it's just a beautiful hour. Again, if you can get it.
Is it in person?
No, this is still on Zoom because I've got
so everyone can
people
join.
from all over the
Right.
I've got a girl just now from down south. I've got a couple of people down this way, Edinburgh. Like, again as well, no one knows each other, so people feel safe in a bizarre way of being like, oh, you don't know me, so you're not judging me. You don't know that story of me. Like, hey, I'm Sophie, and this is me, bare and all. You don't need to share anything. And everyone asked me, do I need to, hi, I'm Lisa. This is right. No, this is switch your camera on, switch it off. Take from it what you need. Some of it will resonate, some of it won't. The Thursday evening, there's a hot topic that I love to include in it, which is called human design. So that's another kind of coaching tool, which I can explain more in depth, but basically everyone in the world has got an energy type, and you're one of 5 different types. So something that may land for you may not land for you, and it may not land for me. And this is why I incorporate it into Rise, because I could say, right, this is the topic this week, and this is what I would love or invite you to do, and you're going, what a load of rubbish. That doesn't resonate with me. But if I know your type, then I can say, right, so anyone who's a generator, you're going to maybe want to look at it like this. And anyone who's a projector, you're going to maybe take it on like this. And again, it limits comparison. It lets you stay in your own lane. It lets you do it your own way. And then everyone's like, oh, I got something from that. Rather than it just being quite generic. And
that's what pushes off things. That's why people give up.
Yeah,
because
it doesn't work for them or doesn't suit them.
I'm horrendous with numbers, terrible, because my teacher at the time, he was very old school, and it was like, you learn off this board and this is how we do it. And every so often a substitute teacher would come in, same thing, but maybe a different take, and they'd be like, I get that better. Yeah. And I love that you've incorporated, because it's so true. So true.
Yeah, and that again was something that I learned, I was part of, and I'm like, oh, that land. So I've kind of cherry picked everything over the last 6 years that I've personally done to make Rise. And it's basically just about bringing you back into alignment, bringing you more into yourself rather than trying to be someone you're not. Like, it's lovely to aspire and, maybe admire people that are successful and, they look and live a certain way. But I think we have to be really honest with ourselves. It's just
and just be the best version of you.
Yeah,
never mind everyone else, like as you say.
Yeah, unapologetic self. I think people, especially in the world of AI that we're in just now, no one knows who everyone is. And I think bringing it back to if you stay in your own lane, if you can be true to yourself, you've got good intentions, you're waking up each day, you limit comparison and you do your best.
Yeah.
What else do you want? I mean, it would be nice to have a lottery win and, everything else. But even with that, if you don't have the best mindset, you're probably not going to keep it.
Yeah.
So
money can't buy mindset.
No.
It can buy an application to Rise.
Yeah, or a coach.
Exactly.
And I love the fact as well, like when you were saying earlier about you get friends, you get family, and that for us, especially in hairdressing, you've got so many people that you could invest your problem into, but you are Switzerland because you have no investment in their business. There's no need for you to lie or to tell a fib to benefit you.
Yep.
And sometimes I do think that your friends and family will maybe tell you what they think you want to hear because they don't want to upset you.
Totally.
They want to hurt your feelings. Like, we are really close in business partner world where you were able to phone me and say, stop. You need to stop for your own good.
Yeah.
Not she wasn't nasty. It was it was very well received. I was like, oh, but you are absolutely it for people. There's no nonsense because there's no need to be.
And genuinely in a coaching session and even in Rise on the Thursday evening when we group, if people have things to bring up, which is good because people think it, everyone thinks it, you know, normally. I'm just a mirror, you know, I'm mirroring back what you're saying to me. So you said that. So what does that mean? And people don't even realise sometimes they're saying it either. But sometimes you need that hard hitting truth. And, you know, people are say like, I wanted to, you know, jump through the screen and, you know, do something really nasty to you. But 2 hours later, I'm like, oh my God, I just had a light bulb moment. Like that totally made me think differently. And I'm like, it's not about me. It's never about me as a coach. It's all about you. It's all person led. It's you can use the hour however you want. You could sit and talk about, you know, making a cake or something if you wanted to, and I would say why, but you can use it in whatever way. We follow the RISE strategy, so we've got the RISE group program, but I use the RISE strategy through my coaching. So the same thing, reset, identify, shift and embody. Let's change things up and use that same, you know, process. So you may have one coaching session and you might think, oh, it's not really for me, it's maybe not at this time, it's not landing, or you might be like, right, sign me up, I want to do the 8. It's normally about between 6 or 8 sessions, and then you would maybe tail off to one a month. Sometimes we'll do one a week, sometimes it's bi-weekly. Whatever fits into your life, it's very flexible. You know, I can work along with you and timings kind of thing, but it's it's for you. You're going to benefit from this. Like, I know it works because I've done it. This is why I do it. And I think as well, being a hairdresser, if you are a hairdresser, we are the cushion, the emotional cushion. You know, we absorb everything. And for me, I didn't have a release. And that was why I was trying to fix everyone's problems. And, you know, at 9 o'clock at night, I'm like, oh, I better find that link and send that. Or, oh, I've just seen this quote. I thought about this. You know, like, we hear it all. There is nothing untouched that we've probably not heard. So when you've got that up here, you need somewhere for it to go, you know, and that's...
Or just even to help you process it.
Yeah, and totally. Yeah.
I think it's also worth noting as well, like, because so in the past I've done, like, years and years ago, I had a coach, and not a hairdressing one, and just business-wise, and help me focus and things. And it's funny, like, when people will start something, it's like the gym, right? So not that I'm a, expert on this, but people get, like, bodybuilder physique, and then Christmas happens and they lose their way a wee bit. It's good to say, if you've had a coach in the past, it doesn't mean that was you done and dusted. You could reset again. Yeah. Because all it takes sometimes is someone, a nudge to say, like, you've dropped your gym membership. Yeah. Pick it back up. Let's go. Let's go again.
Totally.
You know, like, you can still, even although you've transformed yourself in the past, there's nothing to say you couldn't do it again. Yeah. And life is always evolving and changing, and new obstacles comes in front of us all the time. My roof came off during the storm. You know, like, you wake up one day and you're like, good. I swear to God, I'm on the Truman Show. And every so often something will happen and I'm like, I know. You know, like, I looked outside and my products were in, like, a Wizard of Oz hurricane.
She gets it all.
Swirling round and round. And I was like...
But I love... Yeah, okay. I mean, it amazes me. There's not a lot of people could deal with what you deal with.
I mean, this is the icing on the cake. Like, if you go deeper layers, there's a lot to it where you'd be like, stop. Let's make a Coronation Street episode of your life. But I've kind of just, like, you know, at that point when I looked outside and I was like, oh, that looks like my hairdryer spinning itself round. It was like... Okay, well, we can either get absolutely furious and cry and think, or we're just going to have to run outside with a bag, grab what we can, and contact a joiner. Like, I don't know what else to do. You know, and I think that's the same with your coaching. Like, just because someone's maybe in the past looked at something, maybe it has popped its head up again, and there's reason for that happening. And new year, new you. We've said, like, we're not new us, but we are new mindsets and new energy. Yeah. And certainly anything that's not serving you, we'll get rid.
Let go.
It's like, how many friends do you both have who you don't hear from at all? And this is a really controversial subject, and I really wondered about messaging it. I've really wondered about bringing it up. How many friends do you have in your world who you don't hear from at all until 12 weeks when they need their root done? No, genuinely. Can't just, like, I'm very fortunate, I don't have very many like this anymore, and a lot of people, I had to set them free, but it's like, oh my God, I'm drowning over here, and I could really be doing my wee bit of help, but I have to drop all because you need your root done, or your fringe cut or whatever. And actually, like, even looking at things like that from a hairdressing perspective, like, what's going on here?
I know.
You know? I know. And it's a tricky one because you don't want to let people down and they're your friends, but equally...
Yeah, and they're the ones that you probably have taken a tenner off, or you've, done it. But I think again,
But you charge money.
Yeah, I know. Well, exactly.
That's exactly
pay for your
But
product.
that's where it also is really tricky, and people talk about that in our industry as well. Like, do you charge your mum?
Yeah, I know.
Like, you'll bend over backwards to accommodate her, and I'm not saying that I wouldn't know, obviously, she's my mum, but then I'll burn out, and then I'll say, no, mum, your hair needs done and whatever, and I'll put her in my chair for 3 hours, and where I would have charged blah, I'm not. So not only am I more burned out, I'm out of pocket.
Yeah.
So it's really tough in our industry to find that balance.
Yeah. I guess it comes back to you being honest with yourself, like in that, like, why are we burnt out? Is it really about the money, or is it about the feeling that you're chasing to fit everyone in? And I think this is
to feel like a good person.
Yes,
and
to validate yourself.
Them.
Yeah. I think family members are different, because especially if you've got them for childcare, that I'm always like, and I think at a point, like, my stepmom, my mother-in-law were like, no, let me give you something, let me get, and I was like, right, okay, do you know what, it'll pay for the colour or whatever, that's fine. It's sometimes if it was you, you'd be like, no, please let me give you something, because I don't want to take this for nothing. So if you put it back on you, you're like, actually, okay, just cover the colour or whatever. But in that instance, if you are sitting in that right now, like, check in with yourself, why can't you say no? Like, I can't do that. And why are you going looking for that problem to solve? You're needing your roots done. She hasn't said, hi, like, when you're free, could you fit me in? You've created that because you need something from that. So again, it's just like, no stopping that, because what we lose out on.
It's just keeping your mind busy, though, isn't it?
Yeah,
and it's
and
keeping
I
it
think
off of other things.
Yeah, and that's all it is. We're just procrastinating. We're just like, head in the sand. But I think in order to change it, it just sometimes, it's not easy. Like, I remember it as well, just being like, do, and then collapsing. And there's a point and your body will say no more.
Do you ever miss the hairdressing side of it?
Well, I still do hairdressing, so I've got a salon at home as well. I've done it all. I've worked in hairdressers, I've worked for hairdressers. I think now I would like to be more balanced. I would like to definitely do more coaching, and I think this is what this year will definitely bring from me. I probably do need to cut some ties with certain, maybe my late night appointments, especially my wee boy's 8, so he's got clubs every night of the week, so it's a sacrifice. I'm like, so I'm not getting him to see him do that. I'm never going to get that time back. I know. And I'm like, is an extra £80 worth that? Or in 3 years am I going to go, where did that go? Half of it went to probably tax and products, and so I made £20.
I know.
And I think that's where I'd really need to be honest with myself and not just fluff over it. Like, will I regret not being that parent for him? Because I know even now, like, the cheek that's coming out his mouth, I'm like, he's really not interested in me. Oh, of course he is, but I know we're elevating to another stage of his life, and I'm like, I'm going to lose that, so I think this year, if I can do hairdressing that works for me, probably in school times, absolutely fine, and I can do my coaching around it, because people keep asking me, are you giving it up? Are you giving it up completely? And I'm like, I actually still really enjoy it. Like, I love coaching. Like, I got this aura ring at Christmas, and anytime I talk about it or anytime I do it, my stress is down. In hairdressing, I'm stressed. And I'm like, oh my God, what is that actually telling me? Am I enjoying it? It is a stressful job. You're on your feet, you're talking, you're like spinning a million plates, And
the thing is, in hairdressing, the focus is on you, whereas in coaching, it's on them. So
totally.
It's like completely opposites at that point.
And I think I just love seeing people change. Like, I just, honestly, I don't probably think I can articulate it. From seeing someone at the beginning of a session to the end of it, like, people are like, you've changed my life. I'm like, no, you've done that. Like, you've changed it.
It's caterpillar to butterfly, really,
totally,
isn't it?
Totally,
Love that.
Yeah.
I honestly feel like I've got personally so much, even just out of this one episode, and I do think that the listeners, like, I think this is the kind of thing that if you hear this on social media, a clip, they're hopefully going to invest in the full hour, because this is just, wow, there's so much to go from. So thank you so much for joining us today. And
it's a pleasure.
Does it validate? It makes you feel like you're not on your own with some of these thoughts and feelings, doesn't it? Like, definitely, especially in the hairdressing world, but in every industry, this must resonate with so many people.
Yeah.
And that's so important. So thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you both for
and
having
hopefully
me.
have you again in the future where we can maybe talk more about. I mean, let's go into Lisa's like. Don't have enough
She
time
says
for
she'll
that.
be contacting you after
know.
this, I think.
Can I join, Raz?
I know.
At 8 a.m.
On the recording.
Camera will be off because the wig's not on. Thank you for watching, listening, liking and subscribing. We're Behind the Mirror podcast, and today's episode was really kindly sponsored by Lisa Cramb Coaching. If anything that's been talked about on this episode today has struck a chord with you, then please message Lisa directly on Instagram, Lisa Cramb Coaching. We will tie all the links to the bottom of the episode below and get yourself signed up for Rise.
Yes.
Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.
you.
Bye.